Yes, we're actually talking now to Barry McInerney over in Melbourne, and he's got common law courts up and running, Victoria, that is in Melbourne. And let's see what Barry has to say and how things are going for himself. So, hello, Barry.
Hi, Dominic. Not over there to the cold weather, but you guys are looking forward to the summer, and we're
Well,
not looking forward to the winter.
well, you say cold weather. We're having a bit of a heat wave at the moment. It's just non-stop sunshine. They've stopped doing stuff in the sky. We've got clear skies. It's
I
unbelievable.
was, yeah, I was watching Richard Vobes, which I watch every night, and Richard was out in the sun in the farm, so it's good to see. They obviously not interfering with the weather at the moment. They're giving you a break. And
No.
look at the sun.
I think they're just like giving us a little taste, you know what I mean, before they start meddling. But anyhow, how's things going with your common law court over in Melbourne,
Well, it's
Australia as well?
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting you asked that. Today we had a grand jury. The councils, like in England, have gone completely mad here, so they're a law unto themselves. They actually believe they're local government because they've been told they're local government. Yet we had three referendums that said there's no such thing, and in 1999 was the last one, and they privatized everything, and now they're just doing wherever they flaming like. In fact, things have gone so bloody crazy that up in Queensland, people in high-rise buildings after the fifth floor pay a view tax. So on
Wow,
fifth floor, you might be looking into someone's garden, and then up, of course, on the 40 or 50 or 40 odd floors, you pay eight or $900 a year just for the view of the city or a view of the
crikey.
beach. That's how crazy they've
That's
gone. So today
it
we
is
had a grand jury. Yeah, we have a
okay.
grand jury for a council here that decided if you had cars that weren't taxed, that would be in England or registered on your own land, and they couldn't be seen from the road, so you had if they were completely hidden, you had to pay a monthly or sorry yearly fee of $400 something just to keep a car that wasn't taxed or registered on your own property or a caravan. So they've gone crazy completely. So today we had a grand jury where 23 people got sworn in and they decided there was a case, they got indicted, the case to answer. So the mayor, which are elected, but they've got no say whatsoever. The CEO runs the place anyway, but they both got indicted. And our wonderful premier, if the state of Victoria, that Daniel Andrews screwed up, she was put in, never elected, and now she's been indicted as well. So the next thing will be a court case.
Wow. So things are really moving on then.
Well, we started in 21, and it's funny, we ended back doing the grand jury court in a church after it finished today, and that's where I actually got sworn in 21, and a jury of 12 swore me in, and that was where we had our first court case. So it's gone round in a circle, but we've now got the bank a bank in the UK behind us, and things are looking pretty good for them as well, and for us. And we've had an offer of a couple of vehicles today at the court case. Someone come up and is going to put some vehicles on the road for us. So we got to get them painted black and white with sheriff written on it. And of course, we have, which is very important for any organization that's outside the barriers of normality, if you like.
Yeah.
We have a good relationship with the police. Being an ex-cop, it helps. So things are looking good. And I've been trying to get in England a lot of people to go back to the Shire Reef system, which the sheriff comes from in England. But it's like asking people to change religion, Dominic.
I fully understand where you're coming from with that last bit. I mean, a lot of people are just quite happy so long as they've got a can of beer in the fridge and they got work Monday morning. They're just ride along with it so long as they got money coming into the house. They're not really sort of open-minded about the big picture, what corruption's going on, and how important a sheriff can be as well. You know, it's that the sheriff's for the people, isn't it? I guess. I mean, that's what it's all
Yeah.
about.
Well, the sheriff is elected now, and I'll just give you an example of that. I'll show you the badges. We're part of the American Sheriff's Association. There's two sheriffs in Victoria. We're both registered with them and recognized as sheriff's office, and that's why on our badge there you'll see that it's got the American flag, which we're actually an American sheriff's office here in Australia. So it's Australian jurisdiction. Our deputies all get badges as well. They're a lovely badge. They're quite thick and they're brass, and they're a lovely badge.
That's
And
high quality, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, they wear them with pride. Now, the police have left us to run things on a number of occasions because the police are absolutely devastated by, oh, sorry, just destroyed by the government because the police are owned by the government, and regardless of what the police do, that they have to toe the line of our crooked corporation government, which are absolutely criminal here in Australia, and the same as you've got the Labour Party in England, which is, I remember England in the 60s when I was a special constable in 1966. Things were different, mate, and people had respect for each other. So now that's
Yeah.
gone. But the Shire Reef is very important. The sheriff is owned by the people. He's elected by the people, and he's not responsible to the government or to anybody. So only to the people. So you go from a grand jury to a jury of 12, where these people today who are indicted will get summonses to appear in court. Now, last Thursday, this council, we had a meeting, and the people of that council area elected a sheriff elect. So in about a month's time or 6 weeks' time, we'll have a court case for these, for the council CEO and the mayor, and the Premier of Victoria. He will then be sworn in by a jury of 12, and each member of the jury will sign off on the appointment. And if he brings some deputies, they'll go before the same jury and get sworn in, and we'll
Okay.
carry on from there.
So I gather that you've got your own sort of like courtroom then over there.
Yeah. Yes, we have our own courtroom where when we have a court case, maybe 60, 70, 80 people in one time,
Okay.
especially if you're doing the premier or something like that, somebody important, maybe 100 people will turn up.
Good
And then we
turnout,
have,
yeah.
yeah, how we pick a jury. This is very important. The jury is picked by we put 12 numbers 1 to 12 in a box or a bag or a bucket, and we put about 20 or 30 blanks in there. So the deputies go around and people pick a number, and when they get a number, they move over to the chairs are in the other direction from the audience, if you like, and they take their seat on the jury. And when there's 12 picked, then they get sworn in by the court secretary, and then there's two what do you call them, uh, people to look after them for the day. What do you call them? I forget. Bailiffs. Two bailiffs are sworn in as
Okay.
well. I'm tired. I've been in court all
It's late
day.
for you now, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, two. Oh, yes, it's getting late. And two, yeah, actually it is because our clocks went back. It's now quarter to 11 at night, which was a
Crikey.
quarter to 12, and I'm still alive. I've been up all bloody day. Anyway, the bailiffs get sworn in, and they go with the jury when they're deliberating, and they go into a separate room, and they come back with their verdict. And sometimes they can be there for a long time, and it's really annoying to wait, but you
Okay.
have to do it.
See, in Britain, what people have got to realise, I mean, the sheriff comes from the Shire Reef, which is our history in time beforehand, and the Shire was the chief of the village where the sheriff comes from, the Shire Reef. But I mean, you try and get this across. This is what we need to do. This is why we're doing this video now, so people
Hmm.
can understand that the sheriff's for the people, and it's a good thing, and it's definitely needed because people moan about, oh, I'm sick of this, I'm sick of that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they do not come up with a solution. And what is the solution? I believe it is having a sheriff in every town and city, and that this is the way forward, and we need to push this on like you have, Barry, over there in Melbourne. And it's a positive, it's a good positive for the people. Well, I mean, I'm really impressed with what you've done.
Yeah, it's picking up here. We've got two sheriffs up in Townsville. That's what's way up the north of Queensland. There's two up there. A couple in Sydney, they came down and got sworn in, but they haven't done much. And Townsville is flooded at the moment. I think there's seeding up there. They've had a lot of problems with rain and stuff. So Townsville is up the top of Australia. So it's starting to spread. And now there's going to be another sheriff here in Melbourne. We'll be sworn in, as I said, probably 6 or 6 or a month's time, or whatever the case it takes to get this court case set up. But see, people have to realize that, like, if you look at on my YouTube channel, which is London News, we'll put it up to show people where to look at the power of the sheriff. Now, in the States, the sheriff it went there in 1635. Common law went from England, and the Shire Reef, the sheriffs went to America. They continue the practice, and they are not responsible to the government or governor of the state. They are not responsible to my dear friend and who I adore, if you like, to a certain degree, Donald Trump. They don't have to answer even to the President of the United States. They are independent. Hence the term, when they talk about Donald Trump, there is a new sheriff in town, and the new sheriff is either liked or hated, and it doesn't matter. He's there and he's making changes, but it's gonna all will it'll all work out well in the end. So England needs to go back, and it goes back to
Yeah,
Alfred the Great, and all the records were kept from 1066 when. After William the Conqueror, after the Battle of Hastings, they were on the Doomsday Book was they wrote bankers in and stuff, and the records go back that far.
absolutely right. Absolutely right. And that's why we're having this conversation now. I'm going to do my damnedest. I'm not going to go mad at it. I'm just going to dribble it in because we don't want to scare everyone. We need to drift it in slowly, get people to understand what the sheriff is all about, and then I'm going to myself personally, I'm going to try and sort of like do something about it in my local town, and promote the fact that we need common law. And people moan about what can we do. I think this is the only solution, Barry. And I think we need to really be positive about it and get this moved on and bring it back to our country. This is where it came from. We need to bring it back, get it on the streets, get the sheriff there for the people. And this is a positive move, and people should jump on board and make it happen. That's what I say. So I'm not going to leave you too long because it's very late for yourself now. And thanks very much for coming onto my channel and chatting with me. It's been absolutely splendid. And I wish you all the best and power to the people and power to the sheriff, I say. Thanks very much, Barry.
Thanks, Dominic. We'll catch you again the next time around, and we'll put a uniform. Well, our uniform is the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. That's where we get our uniforms from. So
Okay.
we don't want to be in black and white, and we don't want to be in
No.
blue, and we don't want to be black, which is really the devil's devil's colors.
Yeah.
And sadly, the police force, as I said, I became a special consul because I was only 5'7". You had to be 5'8". But in '67, they changed the height regulations and they brought women in, and I could have gone on with it, got a spiky, what do you call it, a wooden top. But anyway, that's another story. Thanks, Dominic. Catch you next time on the track.
Yeah. Cheers,
Bye for
Barry.
now.
Have a good sleep.
Bye. Bye
Bye
bye.
now. Bye. Bye.